Today, I find myself in Maspeth, Queens, at the historic home of the Maspeth Fire Department. While it has been an FDNY firehouse since 1913, the roots of the Maspeth Volunteer Fire Department stretch back to the late 19th century, beginning in 1888 when the community saw the need for organised fire protection. The original firehouse stood on Grand Avenue, a central artery in Maspeth. According to the fire department's own records, it operated from that location starting in 1888, with a sense of pride and commitment to protecting the growing town. I've come across an article from a local newspaper dated July the 3rd, 1888, announcing the opening of the new engine house, marking a milestone for Maspeth's early firefighting efforts. If you visit the site today, you can still see what the building looked like. According to the FDNY website, the Volunteer Fire Company relocated to a new station on Maspeth Avenue in 1890, but I wasn't able to find a newspaper article that confirms this date. Some historical sources indicate that the move may have taken place later, around 1895. While I uncovered a wealth of references to this fire department in local papers from that period, none mention the specific address of the station at the time, leaving a bit of a mystery around the exact timeline. Nevertheless, the building from that era still stands today, and I've included a photograph to show what it looks like in the present. There are also a few surviving images of the old firehouse, which served the town until 1913. These photos capture a time when volunteer fire companies were not just an essential part of the town's infrastructure, but were often the heart of local communities, with neighbours coming together in times of need. Maspeth, a working-class neighbourhood at the time, took great pride in its fire brigade, and the volunteer spirit ran strong through the town. In 1898, everything changed for Maspeth, along with the rest of Queens County, when it was incorporated into Greater New York City. The consolidation brought new governance and services, and the volunteer fire departments in Queens were informed that they would soon be replaced by paid city firefighters. However, the city offered an opportunity for the volunteers. If they wished to join the professional ranks of the FDNY, their applications would be given priority consideration. Despite this, the volunteer fire department remained active for another 15 years, continuing its service to the community before it officially transitioned into the hands of the FDNY in 1913. It wasn't until the following year, in 1914, that the city constructed the current firehouse on the spot where I stand today. This firehouse, with its brick facade and distinct early 20th century architecture, has served as the home base for Maspeth fire companies for over a century. While it may not boast the grand designs of some of Manhattan's historic firehouses, it holds deep significance for the local community. In recent years, local residents and elected officials have campaigned to have this firehouse recognised as a New York City landmark. Despite their efforts, the Landmarks Preservation Commission has thus far declined to grant landmark status. The reason given was that the building itself is not considered architecturally significant. Additionally, the Commission's regulations stipulate that for a site to be designated as a landmark based on a historically significant event, at least 30 years must have passed since that event occurred. In the case of this firehouse, that key event is tied to the tragic events of September the 11th, 2001. Under the current rules, the building will not be eligible for consideration until 2031, unless exceptions are made. The community has passionately urged the Commission to waive the rules in this instance, and the reason for this is deeply personal, tied to the firehouse's connection to one of the darkest days in American history. Before I share that story, let me show you a view of Manhattan from where I'm standing beside the firehouse. From here, on a clear day, you can see the entire Manhattan skyline. Prior to September the 11th, 2001, the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center would have been visible on the left side of the skyline from this spot. Tragedy struck this firehouse on that fateful day, September the 11th, 2001. The two companies stationed here, haz-mat 1 and Squad 288, were some of the first responders to the World Trade Center after the first plane struck the North Tower. In fact, one firefighter from this house radioed into dispatch, reporting the incident as his colleague witnessed the plane hitting the tower. Due to the firehouse's proximity to the Queens Midtown Expressway, the crews were able to make their way into Manhattan in a matter of minutes. Here is the riding list from that day, which shows the names of the 20 men from haz-mat 1 and Squad 288 who responded. Out of those 20 men, 19 tragically perished when the Twin Towers collapsed. Their sacrifice on that day represents the single greatest loss of life of any firehouse in New York City during the attacks. In total, the FDNY lost 343 members on September the 11th, 2001, and the Maspeth firehouse bore the heaviest toll of all. The only firefighter from this list who survived did so because of his role. On that day, his assignment was to remain with the apparatus to coordinate equipment needs. He was seated in the rig when the second tower came down, narrowly escaping the devastation that claimed his brothers. Directly behind the firehouse is Maspeth Memorial Park. The park includes a special section dedicated to the firefighters and local residents who died on September the 11th. Among those memorialized are some residents who lived in Maspeth but were assigned to other firehouses throughout New York City, making the loss felt even more deeply within this tight-knit community. The memory of those fallen heroes is etched into the hearts of the Maspeth community. While the firehouse may not yet have achieved official landmark status, to the people here it is already a sacred site. One that stands not just as a building, but as a living memorial to those who gave their lives in service of others.